making your way all the way onto your back. Maybe you find a little bit of movement as you start to settle. Allow your feet to connect with the ground so that your knees are up towards the ceiling. Let's draw the knees in towards the chest, holding onto our shins or our knees, finding a little bit of swaying or maybe drawing circles with the legs and knees. Let's give our thighs a squeeze in towards the belly. And then release your hands. Let your legs come onto the ground. Allow yourself to find some stillness. You might wiggle into your fingers and toes just to release a little bit of energy so you can start to ground, quieting the body and quieting the mind. Let's begin with a full body scan. Starting at the top of the head, you might visualize an orb or a beam of light. That light can be any color. Beginning to illuminate areas within the body, whether it's the physical body, mental, emotional, spiritual. Just illuminating these areas, beginning to take in some information, or rather gather information about where you are at this morning. Maybe noticing some areas that need awareness or attention or compassion. As your body scan is complete, shift your awareness to your breath. You don't need to change your breath consciously at this moment. Just notice how you're breathing. Bringing awareness to the quality of your breath this morning. Feeling the temperature coming in through the nose or the mouth. We'll do some guided breath work. Take a full breath in through the nose to prepare. Full breath out through the mouth. Draw the air in through your nose. Feel your belly, rib cage, and chest expanding. As you get to the fullness of that breath, pause. Open mouth exhale. Draw the air in fully through the nose, filling up as full as you can. When you get to the top of your breath, hold. Take a sip of air and hold. Open mouth, release. One more time, filling up as full as you can. Holding at the top of your breath. Take a little sip of air and hold. As you're ready to exhale, let out a sigh. Resume your breath. Allow it to be natural. Let's replant the feet onto the ground. Knees are up towards the ceiling. You might lift the hips and set them back down, just realigning the spine. We're going to take our right foot and lift it away from the ground. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And then tune into any sensations that you feel here within the hips. If you feel like you want more sensation, pick up your left foot and hover your left calf above the ground. You might thread your hands behind your left thigh or maybe onto your left shin, starting to draw the legs in a little closer towards the body. Although we're a little bit active in this pose, see if you can find a few places to soften. Could be the shoulders, could be the jaw or the temples. Gently release your left foot onto the ground, keeping that right ankle on your thigh. And then we're actually going to now cross the right thigh on top of the left thigh. So just adjusting that top leg a little bit, almost as though you're in a cross-legged position. Take your arms out wide if you have the space to do so, and allow your knees to fall down to the left side towards the ground. You'll feel your low back lifting away from the mat. You might take your gaze over to the right side, drawing your right ear to the mat. Mindfully draw your knees up towards the ceiling, uncross that top leg, replanting the foot. We'll lift our left foot and cross that ankle on top of the right thigh. Take a moment to listen to your body. If this is enough sensation for you, stay here. You want more sensation, start to lift that right foot away from the ground, threading the hands behind the thigh or on top of the shin. Make sure that you're not forcing anything here. Some discomfort, some therapeutic resistance and sensation is great. Make sure that you can breathe. Release your right foot onto the ground. Cross your left thigh on top of your right thigh. Take your arms as wide as you can. Gently lower your knees down to the right. Maybe you look up towards the ceiling, or maybe you take your gaze over to the left. Feel yourself softening. Guide your knees up towards the ceiling. Uncross your top leg. Let's hug our knees in towards our chest. And then again, we're going to release the legs onto the ground. Place one hand over your belly and one hand over your heart. From this place of groundedness and connection, see if there is a word or a phrase or a feeling that bubbles up. Something that you want to cultivate or focus on. Bringing forth an intention for your practice, or your day, or your week. Once again, hugging the knees in towards the chest. You might roll over to one side in the fetal position, or maybe you want a little bit more energy. You might start to rock yourself into a seated position, rolling along the length of your back. Eventually, we'll all make our way into a seat in a cross-legged position. And for the sake of changing things up, we're going to swap out the leg that's in front. Draw the top of your head towards the sky. We're going to find some circles, drawing our chest from knee to knee. As we inhale, exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the tailbone, maybe even tucking the chin as you complete that circle. Full breaths. We'll take these circles in the opposite direction, continuing to inhale as we rock our bodies forward. Begin to make your circles smaller and smaller until you arrive at a neutral spine, coming to stillness. We'll extend our left leg out at the side. Any amount is fine. Your leg might be in a little bit closer, it might be a little further away. Draw your right foot in to meet the inseam of your thigh. And then if you notice that left hip popping up, you might either just root it back down, or maybe you place a towel or blanket beneath it. Once you feel settled here, straighten through the spine, drawing the head up towards the ceiling. We'll sweep our arms overhead, full breath in. As you exhale, twist towards the right, planting the left palm on the right thigh. Gaze looks over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, reach your hands high. We're gonna pivot our belly button towards the extended leg. Exhale to fold over. Inhale to rise. Exhale to twist. Keep following this pattern of movement with your breath. Allowing your breath to guide you. You're welcome to stay in any of these positions for more than one breath. And just as a reminder, this is a gentle flow class, so let's be mindful and gentle with ourselves. Meet yourself and your body where you are at today. Give yourself permission to modify any positions or take breaks as you need to. The next time your arms are reaching overhead, release them down at your sides. We'll swap out the pattern of the legs, taking the right leg out at the side, drawing the left foot in. See if there's anything else you need here for support. As you're ready, sweep your arms overhead, full breath in. Exhale, twist towards the left. Look over your left shoulder. Inhale to rise, find length. Pivot your belly button towards your extended leg and fold. Keep moving with your breath. And as you breathe and move here, see what information you can collect about your body. As you find your arms overhead, soften them down towards the ground. We're going to take our feet, the bottoms of our feet together in butterfly. You might rock side to side. Maybe you draw your feet in a little closer towards your body or a little further away. Planting your fingers or your hands onto the ground, start to walk them forward as you start to shift forward from the hips, softening down towards the feet. Any amount is fine. Notice any sensation and breathe into it. Guide the top of your head back up towards the ceiling. Draw your knees in towards one another. You might windshield wiper or sway your knees from side to side. And then we'll make our way onto hands and knees. Offer yourself any additional cushion under your knees if your knees are feeling sensitive or if you're on a hardwood floor. So check in with your alignment, hovering the shoulders above the wrists and your hips are above your knees. With the eyes closed, find some natural and intuitive movement. Come back to stillness. We'll take a few rounds of cat and cow, dropping our belly towards the floor, pressing through the palms, looking forward, maybe looking up towards the ceiling if that feels okay for your head and neck. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin towards the collarbone, round through the spine, pressing through the palms and the tops of the feet. Inhale, drop into cow, belly drops towards the floor, press through the palms. Exhale to round into cat, hollowing out the belly. Full breath in, cow. Keep moving with your breath. Come back to tabletop. We'll curl our toes under. Walk your hands towards your knees so that you start to sit back onto your heels. You might keep your hands connected to the ground if you're feeling enough sensation in the feet. If you want more sensation, walk your hands onto your thighs, drawing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. If your hands are connected to the ground, you might turn your fingers in towards the center of the mat, feeling into the sensation in the wrists, the arms, or maybe even turning the fingers out towards the width of the mat and back towards your knees. If you're in an upright position, you might circle out the wrists or take the tops of your hands and connect them to the outside of your rib cage. And you're welcome to pop out of this, either lifting away or shifting into tabletop. And then coming back into this toe squat as you're ready. Reconnect your hands to the mat if they aren't already. Come forward into tabletop, tap out the tops of your feet. Take a moment to find stillness, tuning into the sensations you're experiencing. And then keeping the feet just as they are, we're gonna walk our hands towards our knees, shifting back. We sit on our calves, so our toes are not tucked this time. Taking your right hand, plant it onto your left knee. You might rest your left fingers behind you as you start to lift that left knee away from the ground, any amount. Feeling some gentle sensation along the front of your ankle and leg. Carefully release that knee back down. We'll take this to the other side. Left palm comes onto the right knee. Gently lift it away. Gently release your right knee onto the ground. Replant your hands, walk them forward, coming into tabletop. We'll curl our toes under, walk our hands towards our knees. Let's keep the hands connected to the ground. Find 3 full breaths. Come back to tabletop. Keeping the toes curled under, we'll lift the knees, send the hips overhead, up towards the ceiling. Walk your hands forward, look towards your feet. Find some movement for the feet, maybe drawing the heels down towards the mat and up towards the ceiling. You might windshield wiper the heels from side to side. Honor any kind of movement that your body might want. With a full breath in, reach your right foot up towards the ceiling, squeezing at the glute. Take a bend through that right knee as you guide it towards your nose. Inhale to reach that right foot high again. Offer yourself a generous bend through both knees as you plant your right foot between your hands. You might start to wiggle that left foot or step it back a little more. Make sure that your front knee, the right knee, is above its ankle. Rooting your left palm into the ground or onto a block. Open your right fingers up towards the sky. You're welcome to stay here in stillness or offer some movement for your right shoulder and arm. Offer yourself a full breath in. As you exhale, replant your right hand. Lower your left knee onto the ground, untuck the back toes. If you need support for that left knee, honor that. As you're ready, press through the right foot and rise up. Adjust as you need to. If you need a little bit more stability, walk your right foot out towards the edge of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms high. Draw your navel towards your spine so that you're engaging in your belly. Open your arms out to a T. Inhale, reach the hands high. Bring the palms to touch. Bend through the elbows as you guide your hands down to heart center. You're welcome to stay here with your breath, or you can guide your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh so that you're kind of resting the back of the arm on top of the thigh, pressing through the palms for more stability. Notice and honor any shaking or wobbling. All of that is welcome. With control, unwind, Coming back to center. Reach your arms high, full breath in. And we're going to shift forward from the hips. We're going to plant our right hand on the inside of our right foot, keeping that left hand reaching. Replant your left hand. Gently kick your right foot back into tabletop. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, walk your hands forward. Find some movement for your feet and legs. With a full breath in, reach your left foot high. Bend your knee as you exhale, guiding it towards your face. Inhale to re-extend. Offer a generous bend through both knees as you guide your left foot between your hands. Adjust your back foot as you need to. Plant your right hand onto the ground or onto your block. Sweep the left fingers up towards the ceiling. See what you want and need here, stillness or movement. Full breath in, reach your hand high. As you exhale, replant that left palm. Guide your back knee onto the ground, untuck the back toes, rise up. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Sweep your hands overhead, full breath in. Exhale, open them out to a T. On a full breath in, reach your hands overhead. Palms come together. Bend through the elbows, guiding your hands in front of the heart. Once again, you have the option to stay here with your breath or guide your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Press through the palms. Maybe your gaze looks up towards the ceiling. Maybe it looks towards your hands or down towards the ground. With mindfulness and control, come back to center, unwinding the torso. We'll release our left palm to the ground on the inside of our left foot. Reach the right hand high. Replant your right hand. Carefully swing your left foot back into tabletop. With your eyes closed or soft, find some more gentle and intuitive movement. Curl your toes under, send your hips high, downward facing dog. With a full breath in, reach your right foot up towards the ceiling. And on a sweet exhale out, bend through both knees, plant your right foot between your hands. We're gonna swivel and plant our back foot so that it's rooted on the ground. As you're ready, rise up. And we can adjust our foundation as we need to. So this front knee is hovering above its ankle, so we're stacking the joints. The back foot is just about parallel with the back edge of the mat. Hips are as much as we can facing the long edge of the mat. Arms are parallel to the ground. This is warrior two. Reach your right hand forward. Left hand sweeps overhead. You can gently rest your right forearm on your thigh. Feel yourself breathing spaciousness from all the way from your left hand down to your left foot. Feel your breath. Come back to warrior two, arms hovering parallel to the ground. We'll straighten through this front leg, making sure not to collapse through the knee, just keeping it nice and soft. Reach your right hand high. Left hand is gently resting on the back of your left thigh. Rebend through your front knee, arms parallel to the ground. We'll gently cartwheel the hands to the top of the mat. Step forward, coming into a forward fold. Offer yourself any kind of bend through the knees. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's a deep bend. The neck and the head can soften and hang heavy. You might sway a little bit, or maybe stay in stillness. Offering a generous bend through both knees as you drape your chest on top of your thighs, plant your hands, step both of your feet back into down dog. Reach your left foot up towards the ceiling as you inhale. Exhale, plant that left foot between your hands. Swivel and plant your right foot. Rise up, warrior two. Take a moment to adjust your foundation. As you're ready, arms are parallel to the ground. Reach through the left fingertips. Right hand goes high. Feel your breath. Rise back up to warrior two. Straighten through the front leg, left fingers reach towards the ceiling. Come back to warrior two, rebending through the front leg. Cartwheel your hands to the top of the mat, planting them, stepping forward, taking your time to get there. Offer yourself a release in this forward fold. Begin to gently rise up from the base of your spine, one vertebrae at a time, making your way to standing. There's no rush to get there. Once you arrive in mountain, in this standing position, find some movement for your shoulders. Come back to a neutral position. Sweep your hands overhead. Find a steeple grip with the fingers. So you're interlacing the fingers and your pointer fingers are extended out. Stretch your fingers up towards the ceiling. And then from here, start to draw circles, starting small circles, making them bigger and bigger. Seeing how these larger circles change the movement within your body. Continuing to be gentle as you do this. And then making those circles smaller. And we'll take these circles in the opposite direction. Small to big. Drawing circles on the ceiling. And then making them smaller again. As you're ready, gently releasing your hands at your sides, shrugging out the shoulders. Starting to walk your feet just a little bit wider apart. Take your hands behind your low back, interlacing the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades, opening up the chest. Feel your breath. And release your hands. Plant your hands onto your hips. We'll just find some gentle circles for the hips, shifting them forward and backward. Moving slowly and mindfully as you do this. And then we'll take these circles in the opposite direction. Come back to stillness. Let's release the hands facing the palms forward. Reach through the top of the head. Maybe your eyes come to close. Just pause here. Feel and notice anything that's showing up within the body or the mind. Gently blink the eyes open, release the hands. We're gonna head into a chair position. So you might either just take your feet nice and close together, or if you have a block, you could place that between your knees. We're gonna reach our hands up towards the ceiling as you're ready. Exhale, start to guide your tailbone down towards the floor as though you're about to sit in a chair. We're going to sweep our hands behind us, draw the top of the head up towards the ceiling. Full breath in as you straighten through the legs, finding length. As you exhale, sweep your hands high, sink back into your chair. Inhale to lengthen. Airplane the arms. Exhale, sinking into chair. Pause once you're in your chair. Guide your palms towards each other. We're going to guide the hands through heart center. Twisting towards the right, you're going to plant your left arm or elbow on top of your right thigh. Press through the palms, choose where your gaze goes. With control, guide your torso back to center. We're going to find length as we sweep the hands behind us. Exhale, sitting back into chair. Hands come to touch, guiding them through the heart center, twisting towards the left. Press through your palms. Feel your breath. Carefully release into a forward fold. Maybe you shake out the legs a little bit. Find a little bit of movement. Offer yourself a deep bend through both knees. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Downward facing dog, find some natural and intuitive movement. As you're ready, gently lower your knees onto the mat. Untuck the back toes. You might take your legs together or maybe your knees nice and wide with the big toes touching. We're heading into a child's pose. Sinking the hips back towards the heels. You're always welcome to place a towel or a blanket behind the thighs and on top of the calves for more support. Sinking back towards the heels, walk your hands forward. Your forehead or temple might come onto the ground, or maybe it comes onto a block. Soften with each exhale. Take a moment to reconnect with your intention. Pressing through the palms, lift your forehead away from the ground or your block. Shift yourself forward into a tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto our bellies. If you have blocks, you might place the blocks under your shoulders and chest. I'm just demonstrating if you want to look at the computer so that they're kind of at the collarbones, just under the chin. And then you'll lower yourself down onto your blocks. If you don't have blocks, just lower yourself all the way down onto the ground, taking one cheek to the mat, releasing your hands in at your sides. Feel yourself being held and supported. If you have your head turned to the side, turn it to the other side. Lift your head away from the ground, replant your hands, press yourself up onto all fours. Make your way onto your back. See if there's any last pose or movement that you want to take so that your practice feels balanced and complete. In your own time, make your way into Shavasana. That could look like traditional corpse pose, where you're just resting on the ground, palms facing up, feet long, maybe covered up with a blanket. Or maybe there's another position that feels more nurturing and restful. Give yourself permission to find stillness and to rest. As a reminder, it is normal for the mind to wander. That's what it does. As you notice yourself thinking or daydreaming, you might just watch those thoughts, or maybe you come back to your breath or come back to your intention. You'll hear my voice again as it's time to reawaken. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Bring awareness to your breath. Welcome in gentle movement into the fingers, the hands, toes, and feet. You might offer yourself a full body stretch. Or maybe you roll over to one side. Eventually making your way into a comfortable seat with eyes still closed. Placing one hand over the heart and one over the belly. Feeling into your aliveness. Feeling a connection with yourself. We'll bring the palms to touch in front of the heart. Revisit your intention, your word or phrase or feeling. Or maybe you set a new intention for your day. Raise your thumbs to the third eye to honor kind and compassionate thoughts and creativity. Lowering your thumbs now to the mouth to honor kind and compassionate truth and speech. Lowering the thumbs to the heart to honor kind and compassionate action. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste. Thank you all.